Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Language School Universidad Tecnológica, we warmly welcome each of you to this conference in the frame of English Language Week. We hope that the activities that we are going to be witnessing today can be a great help for each of you, and probably consider this information important for your professional growth in terms of looking for some other information that you can have in order to complement what you will be discussing today. Our host today is Dr. Ostorga. Thank you very much, Mr. Ostorga, for being here today. Dr. Ostorga has a bachelor in English from Universidad Tecnológica. He also has a master in higher education and research. He holds a postgraduate in international business and negotiation. He has a PhD in technology, educational technology. And today he's going to be presenting this interesting topic, which is something the university is benefiting in terms of creating the tool to provide this resource to students. So, Mr. Ostorga, thank you very much. We appreciate your time and your knowledge to be shared with our students. And thanks to our students for being here today with us. Mr. Ostorga, the microphone is all yours. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hey, good morning, everyone. Mr. Marroquin, thank you for allowing me trying to explain and give information about this important approach about Mooc courses. Mooc courses have been designed with the purpose of learning, with the purpose of have a learning process instead of teaching. I would like to say welcome to you guys, students of the pre-specialization. So you are going to find this topic very interesting because I know that some groups are working on creating Mooc courses. So you are going to see, and we're going to discuss about the main principles you will need to create this type of platforms. Welcome, colleagues and friends. And we're going to start working about this important topic, TMOOC as a didactic tool to support a second language acquisition. Okay, first of all, I want to tell you that I'm going to be showing you some presentations in case you don't see them. It is going to be a good idea to log out and log in again to solve that problem, right? So that's something you can do in case you cannot see the presentation. So you can log out and then log in, and that is going to solve the problem. Okay, so now let's start talking about what Mooc courses are. And you will see that this is a very interesting topic, since Moocs are not, let's say, new approaches when we're talking about the learning process, but they have been, developed. The development of these ones has been started since many years ago. Okay, just before we start working, I want you to think about this. Think of you are studying in San Salvador, and your teacher or the professor is in La Union City. And I want you to think about this context. So you don't have internet connection, you don't have digital devices, but the only way you have to deliver the assignments the teacher have provided is the postal office. So I want you to think about that, and I want you to think that you need to, let's say, to send the assignment to La Union City. And the only way to do so is using the postal office. So I want you to think about the time it takes sending this assignment and the time the teacher, the tutor in La Union will take giving you back the results. So I want to start with this presentation saying that Mooc stands for Massive Open Online Courses. And they are, let's say, an online course that is designed to be accessible to a large number of, let's say, participants. And they also have become very popular, not only in El Salvador, but also all around the world, because typically Mooc courses offer, let's say, a wide range of topics. And in our university, at Technological University, we have started offering these, let's say, disruptive tools since 2021, as I remember. And we have offered Mooc courses on methodology and gamification approaches. And talking about the beginnings, and that was my story about. So let me tell you that, as I told you, the Mooc courses are not new. And I would like to start talking about the beginnings of Mooc courses, asking this question. Where did Moocs come from and where should they take us? Well, let me tell you guys that in 1840, Isaac Pickman used the postal service to teach by correspondence. So that's why I want you to imagine using this service to deliver your task. He sent, Mr. Pittman sent the assignments to his students, and later the participants sent them back to be checked. Okay, so that was the first, let's say, form of a Mooc course. Then later, in 2008, George Siemens and Stephen Downes launched the first Mooc for 24 students. They call that Mooc connectivism and connected knowledge. Okay, and this learning platform was designed to promote at that time a new theory of learning, which is the connectivism. Talking about the connectivism, some author said that connectivism is not a learning theory, because you need to know that learning theories study the way people study or the way the people learn, all right? And the connectivism takes methodology and takes techniques. That's why this is closest in meaning to a instructional design. But according to those authors, connectivism is not a learning theory. Okay? Mooc courses are open educational resources, and they have some important characteristics we have to review. Okay, as you can see, they have accessibility, reusability, adaptability, and combination. Okay, accessibility because you guys, teachers, can teach or learn anywhere and anytime. For example, if you're having a pre-specialization, or if you are taking a course like a reading conversation 1 or 2, or a basic English course, intermediate, whatever course you are taking, so you can have classes online. So it means that you will need a internet connection and a digital device, laptop, tablet, or a smartphone. So that is one of the most important characteristics, I will say. And it means that these characteristics, we will say, gives you an idea that Mooc courses are very inclusive. Okay? Reusability refers to recycling the content of the course. For example, for further implementations in other areas. In the current semester in our university, we have implemented the mock courses of reading conversation 1, for example. And the only actions we have done are, adding or eliminating resources or activities we have created in the platform. So that's why that is reusability. So you can reuse let's say the resources or the activities you have posted in the platform. Adaptability, because mock courses can be adapted to almost any regular courses we know, for example, in our university. And teachers can create and implement them in areas they are teaching, whether they teach informal or in informal education, all right? Formal or informal context. In combination, because we can use the resources, guys, we can use the activities of learning platforms like the ones, like Moodle, Canvas, and Google Classroom to create learning activities using technology. Mock courses can be categorized in several ways, but I would like to say, and I would like to mention the most common categories we know about mocks. So we have the CMOC, we have the XMOC, and we have the TMOC. Okay, talking about CMOC, CMOC courses represent the first experience with mocks. And let me tell you that something interesting about it is that learning is generated by the exchange of information and interaction of knowledge provided by the technology. It means that learning is process of connecting nodes. So that is the main principle of a CMOC course. In regards to XMOC, this learning model provides the transmission of knowledge, expecting that students, participants learn through practical application tasks. We will say that this model is quite close to behavioral model and constructivism, since at the end, when you have completed the course, the participants might have a recognition or a certification. Finally, a TMOC or a transfer mock, which is like a combination, is like a hybrid model, focus on the development of, let's say, skills using task-based learning or project-based learning activities. The theoretical foundation of this mock is quite close to social constructivism. And the participant makes an additional effort to appropriate the knowledge from their previous cognitive knowledge. Well, let's talk about, in general, about a transfer mock. I am going to give you some important information about this approach, about this platform, about this type of course. Well, transfer mocks are a didactic tool to support a second language acquisition, in our case. By offering TMOC courses in a second language, learners have the opportunity, have a chance to immerse themselves in the language and practice their skill in real-world context. In this case, transfer mocks can provide a wide range of language learning resources. For example, in a transfer mock, you can include audio, video materials, you can include chat sessions, interactive exercises, and opportunities. You can give the students opportunities to interact with other learners and with the tutor, okay? Moreover, transfer mock can, let's say, help learners develop a range of language skills. In our case, English skills, including reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And that is possible choosing or selecting the appropriate resources or activities you are going to include in the platform. These mocks can also cover a variety of topics. Okay, so from basic language skills, so it means that you can include it for a basic English 1 course, for an intermediate English course, for an advanced English course, or for more advanced subject matter, for example, phonology or American literature, and can cater the learners of different levels of proficiency. Another, let's say, advantage of transfer MOOCs is their flexibility, as I told you before, because learners can access the course materials at their own pace from anywhere with an internet connection, and can, let's say, revisit course content as many times as they need to. So think about regular classes, a traditional class. Teachers used to play audios or used to play videos once, twice, or 3 times in a traditional class. But students, by using a platform like this, will have a chance to watch the video several times. Okay, so that is one of the advantage participants have when working on this type of approach. This flexibility can be particularly useful for language learners, let's say, who need to balance, for example, their studies with work, because I know that some of you guys work or have other responsibilities. Additionally, transfer MOOC often, let's say, interactive features or characteristics that can help learners practice their language skills in a collaborative setting. Learners can also participate in online discussions, interact with the tutor, and work with peers to complete the assignments and projects, because that is one of the advantages they offer, right? So you can work on task-based task-based learning and project-based learning as well. So you can do it working in peers or working in groups. Okay, I am going to show you a map. This map is going to give you a wide information, let's say general information about the 10 dimensions of transfer MOOC. The first one is authentic task. So this task can be applied in, in real life situation. So that's why it is important to try to introduce, to connect the activities and resources with real life situations the students or the participants are experiencing. The second one is transformation, pedagogical transformation. This is because TMOOC courses may generate different forms of participations based on collaboration in different academic fields. As a collaborative team, as a disruptive education alternative, TMOOC courses promote collaborative and cooperative learning. This approach allows students exchange academic experiences among them and learn from each other. The dimension of intercreative talent, let's say, recognize the individual's ability for the collective construction through, we will say, collaboration using interactivity and creativity of both, not only students, but teacher. This dimension, transfer of learning, are TMOOCs courses are based on potential transfer to the student's professional practice. And this dimension is related to transmediability, because intense participants become more, autonomous in the learning process. It means that the students become responsible of their own learning. And I would like to say about this one that is one of the profile, that is one of the characteristics the students, the participants must have when working on MOOC courses. So they need to be autonomous, they need to be proactive, and they need to be social, per people or person. Then the other dimension I would like to include is the ECRT dimension. ICRT dimension refers to information, communication, and relation technologies that run after, let's say, a more democratic, inclusive, and participatory society. Then transnationalism, this dimension makes students come together not only according to their spatial location, but also according to their academic interest. Then open temporality, it provides teachers, tutors, the tools to design synchronous and asynchronous tools. And this is very important because teachers, you as teachers can select the different synchronous and asynchronous tools you are going to provide to the students. And finally, tolerance, which is related to coexistence with different cultures and group cause. Remember that we socialize and study with people who have different interests, point of view, religions, ideas, right? So that's why this platform provides this important dimension. Okay, but let's talk about what the literature said about MOOCs. Because if you want to have an idea, a specific idea, if you want to know about the origins, if you want to know where MOOCs courses come from, it is important to have like an overview of what authors, researchers say about MOOCs. Okay, so it is necessary to, carry out a bibliographic review of MOOCs courses because we need to contextualize, classify, and categorize literature about what has been told about these courses. Okay, the first finding about MOOCs courses was the essay published by Alvarez and Urquiza in 2015. And they say that a MOOC course is implemented as a formative intention. And this is very important because notice that they are not talking about summative or diagnostic evaluation, but they say formative. Then in 2017, I found a study on why university students drop out higher education and how MOOC courses strengthen teaching management in the learning teaching. So this is very important. Then in 2017, I'm sorry, the same year, Diaz and Baena carry out a documentary study of how MOOCs courses work in Latin American countries as a disruptive technology. And they say that MOOC courses are an alternative tool to banking education. And this is very interesting because they are trying to, they are not replacing the traditional education, but they say that that is going to be an alternative. So you have two choices, right? Either traditional education or online education. In their study, Contreras and Rodriguez proposed MOOC courses as a strategy to support English learning activities. And this is interesting because we can find the first research that tells the reader about English learning activities, about a MOOC where you can, implement an English course. Then Pari and Tapara argued that MOOC courses improve the learning process under the competency model in virtual learning environments. And guys, it's something interesting in this study is that the authors proposes to design, let's say, virtual classrooms using the Moodle platforms. And that is the platform we use in our university. And they use the Moodle platforms as a learning management system, but also the courses help the participants to empower his technological skills. For example, nowadays that we are working on online courses, you will realize that you have, let's say, improved your English skills, but also your technological skills. This idea supported by Acevedo, who states that MOOCs are massive courses in which participants need to have technological skills. And on this study, Gonzalez identified one of the categories we have mentioned about MOOCs courses. One of the dimensions I told you and we reviewed some minutes ago. And they say that MOOC courses can improve a second language learning. Moreover, this course gives the participants an opportunity, a chance to become autonomous, okay, proactive and social, to be responsible on their own learning process. The result of Kamena's work shows that it is important to design and implement MOOC courses as a tool to support the learning process. So now notice that the author is talking about supporting the learning process. It is also important to mention that MOOCs can be very useful for the development of language skills. In our case, writing, reading, listening, and speaking, as stated by Rivera. Salcedo says that MOOC courses break traditional schemes in virtual education because remember that the purpose is not repeating traditional schemes in the learning process. And this is very important because remember that the hero in a traditional class is not the student, but the teacher. But when we're working on online environments, let's say the one who learns, the one who is responsible of his own learning is the student. So you are the heroes in that process. So that's why we cannot see the virtual learning environments like MOOC courses as simple repository of information. So you cannot see them like them. For example, in a traditional class, teachers used to give you pamphlets and you need to read them and then solve problems. So you cannot do that, for example, in a MOOC course, because you need to have a purpose. You need to have a goal to intend students learn by themselves using the material given. Massa implemented a MOOC using some learning strategies. He asserted that the creation of open courses might help to strengthen students' basic skills. And finally, in a Cuban study, it was published in a journal. This study suggested that MOOCs are an inclusive tool for different social and economic sectors of our society. And that is something that I was telling you, that MOOC courses are very inclusive, okay? Because you can you can have courses, you can have education having only a technological device and internet connection. So you don't need to move from one place to another to have, for example, an English class. Okay, this graph, guys, it shows you how it's been possible to develop a theoretical perspective from the review of different literature I have found surfing the web. Critical analysis and some interpretation of documents with the purpose to, let's say, to understand the MOOC courses and their trends. There, you are going to find many variables you might use to hold a research. Okay, so you can think about those variables that you might take into consideration to have a research. At the end of the review, it was possible to identify different, theoretical and pedagogical approaches of interest you may take into consideration. Not only to have this information for further, as I told you, research works, but also to consider these components when creating virtual environments in the different learning management systems we know, like Moodle, Blackboard, Google Classroom, Canvas, and other platforms where you can implement a Mooc. Then guys, let me show you this one that I have created, and I see it very interesting, and I really love watching this graph, because Mooc courses are held through different learning theories that study how the individual learns. So in this graph, you can identify the different learning theories. There you are going to find the constructivism, cognitive theory, the social learning theory, etc. Okay? And in fact, many Mooc courses use a combination of different theories to create a more holistic learning experience for participants. For example, a Mooc, as you can see in the graph, might use behaviorism to encourage learners to complete assignments. Constructivism, let's say, to provide opportunities for learners to engage in active learning. And connectivism to encourage learners to connect with others in the field. So as you can see, the use of learning theories in Moocs can help, let's say, instructors to better understand how their participants learn and what strategies, let's say, are the most effective in facilitating learning. According to Siemens, connectivism work as you see, as a holistic system, which is, connected by nodes. And those nodes in this graph make the learning process happens. Okay, so as you can see in this graph, this interaction is related to the chaos theory, which was used to analyze the disruption to education due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and not only in El Salvador, but also in the world. And this chaos greatly affected learning continuity, and not only in El Salvador, but all around the world. So, guys, this graph tries to represent how the nodes interact among the different learning tools to make learning happens. As you can see in this TMOOC, I have included gamification approach. I have included social constructivism principles, providing task-based learning activities, project-based learning activities, and I have included a certification, which is one important part, because at the end, the participants can have a certification or a recognition. As you can see, this makes learning happens and facilitate the transfer of knowledge from the course to real world. You can identify different activities and resources supporting the learning process. And these type of activities give the students a chance to improve, in our case, English skills, and socialize information through different resources given in the platform as well. In short, well, TMOOC courses can be a valuable alternative for students, for participants who want to pursue higher education, but may not have access to traditional university programs, for example, in El Salvador. Or if you prefer a more flexible and affordable, let's say, option, because you work or you are living abroad. TMOOC courses are also offered by a variety of online platforms, and they typically provide, let's say, free or low-cost access to courses taught by experts in the different fields. Something you have to take into account is that TMOOC courses may not offer the same level of structure and support let's say, as traditional higher education programs we have, for example, at Tecnológica University. But actually, they do offer several benefits. These courses are often self-paced, allow you to learn at their own speed, at your own speed and schedule. They also offer a wide range of topics and disciplines, allowing you to explore your interests and expand your knowledge base. Furthermore, TIMO courses can also provide a valuable skills and knowledge that are relevant to the current job market in El Salvador, and that is something you need to take into consideration. Many employers value, let's say, employees who have completed online courses. That's why if you have a chance to start taking these courses, that is going to be a good idea. In some TIMO courses, even offer certificates or credentials that can be used to demonstrate skills and knowledge to potential employers in El Salvador. Overall, TIMO courses can be a great option for you, for your friends, or for one member of your family who want to pursue higher education on their own terms, at their own pace, and at a lower cost than traditional university programs. However, it is important to research and evaluate the quality and credibility of the courses and platforms before enrolling to ensure that they meet your specific educational and career goals. These platforms, as you see, they are some of the most popular platforms so that you can find on the web. So they are Coursera, EDX, Fundación Carlos Slim, and Future Learn. They offer a vast range of Mooc courses covering, different subjects, levels, and length. And you can enroll yourself in any of the courses this platform offers. You can have a certification at the end of the course. And these ones are just a few examples that to have an idea of what is available on the web. Okay, let me show you guys, before saying thank you, some of the websites you can find on the web. Let me show you this one, edx.org. So as you can see, for EDX, for Coursera, for capacitateparaleempleo.org, and this one, it's a space created by the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México. And these ones have been the TIMO courses we have created at Tecnológica University. For all of these courses, the only thing you need to do is create your user and password. And then you will have a chance to choose the different programs they offer. Something interesting that you can find, for example, in EDX and Coursera is that last year they have courses only. But now they have added master's degree programs and bachelor's degree programs, as you can see. So notice that now education is out of the classroom. So now it is possible to choose master's degree programs or bachelor's degree programs online. For example, in Coursera, you can choose a degree, a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, choosing or selecting the degree you already have, and then the field or the program you need. So as you can see here, you have some master degree programs that you can take online, and that is something that was not on the web. That was something that this type of platforms did not offer, because now you can have those certifications online. And this is very, very interesting. That is sponsored by Carlos Slim. So, Carlos Slim is one of the most multi-millionaire person in Latin America. And he has sponsored this website, so you can create your user and password for free, and you're going to be able to have these courses, diplomados, and at the end, you're going to have a certification. So something that I discovered when I was surfing this web is that, for example, for those who study or are enrolled in the pre-specialization, you are going to find this interesting course, Desarrollador de Moocs. And notice that at the end, you are going to have a certification. So you can take advantage of these courses to update or get into these courses. So please, you can use actually this course, and you are going to find a lot of topics, a lot of courses. If you want, you can copy that one. You can do it later. Don't worry. And notice that they have been created for different fields: technology, health, etc. You are going to find a lot of possibilities. And in here, you're going to find courses. And I want you to check the variety of mock courses we have in this website. And believe it or not, we have courses even for apicultores, productor de grillos, etc., etc. So you can surf and choose one of the courses this website is offering. Talking about the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, so you can see that this university offers this mock. And something interesting about this mock is that they have included the European framework or reference for language right here. So they have created this course, this mock course, taking into account the different levels. So here we have A1, A2, A2, B1, B1, B2, B2. All right, so they have included this. And for those who will work on creating interactive activities in their mocks, so notice that it is possible to work in the platforms and create activities, interactive activities. Let me show you one. We're going to use this one. And let's see that you can create interactive activities for formative purposes. And that is something that you need to understand, that MOOC courses have been created for formative purposes. So that is the idea. All right, so you can take advantage of this type of, let's say, courses and improve your skills. What do we have in our university, Tecnológica University? Well, talking about our university, we created and implemented a mock course in cooperation with the American Embassy. As I remember, that was the last year, and we created this TMOOC course, creación de contenidos para medios digitales. So that was a MOOC we created in cooperation with the American Embassy. And there was another one we created for training purposes in the university. So as you can see, guys, MOOCs, they are a trend. We need to take into consideration, and probably mock courses are not going to replace tutors or teachers, but they are some of the tools, some of the platforms you need to take into considerations for the future, because that is where we go. That is where education goes. In Europe, for example, you are going to find huge buildings, but you are not going to find students in those buildings. You are going to find servers and you are going to find tutors instead. So that's why it is important to you project yourself as tutors, teachers, and think how you can use technology for learning purposes, like in our case. Okay, thank you very, very much, guys, for your attention. Thank you for coming. And I want to know if you have questions, doubts about, or comments about this important topic. Thank you very much. Okay, questions? Iris,
I have a comment.
go ahead, Iris. Iris or
Okay,
Lisbeth?
I was,
Oh, Lisbeth. Oh, Lisbeth, go
yeah.
ahead, Lisbeth.
Well, I was going to say that thank you for this information. So what I have to do is just create a account to enter to those websites.
Yes, yes, Lisbeth.